Future State Future State Robin Eternal issue 1.
Red Robin Eternal.
Megan Fritz Martin writing with Eddie Barrows on the art. This is a Tim story. Stephanie pops up as well as some character from Robin Rising or something. Whatever the lady's from.
Robin.
We Are Robin, yeah.
So, which I looked and I can't find. And I read We Are Robin. I don't remember this character because I feel like I would have remembered a hearing impaired person in a comic book.
I only read the first issue of We Are Robin and then kind of passed out. So
yeah.
I never read We Are Robin. I was kind of like mostly away from DC by the time it got to that.
It's the most I've ever liked Duke because they weren't trying to make him into a different hero. They were actually having him embrace the Robin persona without being the next Robin. So it was like Robin as a symbol, which was real cool. So I like that played on the We Are Robin stuff here, especially with Tim.
What's funny about this one is that I felt like there was a lot of just expectations that it wouldn't be that good beforehand. There was a lot of people just online saying they weren't excited about it. I remember, I think Connor said he was leaving it until last. There was a general feeling that to expect the worst with this one, and I think it kind of came out in a weird way of just being. It kind of falls into just it's just kind of mediocre. It's not the worst thing I read this week.
So I started reading earlier in the week, and one of our Twitter friends had said that they really, really liked it, and I was like, I think I'm being too hard on it. So I went back and revisited it with like not tired eyes, because sometimes I'll end up like not falling asleep, but getting drowsy reading a book, and it'll kind of color my thoughts on it. So I went back and re-thumbed through and I was like, yeah, this is still just kind of in the middle. Like it's not terrible, but it's also not like great.
While I don't think it's a terrible read, I have points I can like look at and go, I dislike this element. But there are very few, but I can't say I like this. There's nothing that I can point out and go, I really like this that it's doing. So there's definitely more negative than positive in the way I approach it. But it's not the worst thing ever, but for sure.
I'm in general, I'm just sick of Steph being a supporting character for Tim. I mean, that's just a blanket statement. I'll say.
I don't think I really like Tim's voice and the fact that he always it's always Stephanie. There's no not once does he say Steph in this entire issue.
Right.
Yeah.
What's up with the eye patch?
Yeah, Tim is looking into a thing where apparently they're using Lazarus Pit water to build or to infuse like cybernetics with like invulnerability. So there's going to be these cyborgs that are immortal and can't be killed, and that's these whole things try to like stop that. Steph doesn't agree to help, but then shows up anyway after he's recruited the Death Lady, and they end up in a big fight, and there's a big giant cyborg, and the issue ends with Tim getting drenched in Lazarus water, which
it's fine.
It's readable. Obviously, Eddie Barrows is a solid enough artist that
I have some really strange mixed opinions on the art in this issue. In that I think his individual panels are pretty solid. There are some really nice layouts, especially in the back half. But early on, it's really aggressive on the Dutch angles, and it's going back and forth in opposite directions that it almost gave me a headache, like with how aggressive it was using it.
Yeah,
so I don't know. That was kind of bugging me.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because I so aggressively have no opinion that it's hard to talk about. This is not like Superwoman where I came in kind of been like, oh, kind of I'm in the minority, but I really don't like it. And it's not like Green Lantern where I'm like really annoyed that I didn't like it. This is just kind of like, it exists. It's there.
I'm glad I prepared myself to not really like this one because, and knowing it was a Tim book and that, I love me some Tim. I kind of knew going in, I was like, don't get excited for it. I was like, don't get your hopes up. So I kept that expectation so low that I'm like, all right, fine. Guess just another Tim issue that sucks.
Yeah. Also, just the Lazarus stuff. Just starting to feel like the magistrate has something to do with Roz. At this point,
possibly.
There's a possibility there. Yeah.
Just knowing his, like, I'm using Batman Begins logic of wanting to make Gotham, like, granted, he didn't want to take over Gotham. He wanted to blow it sky high.
Yeah.
but he wants to make Gotham the example for the rest of the world. So I could just see him coming over and like completely taking over in a different way, you know, and that being so different. The Lazarus stuff just kind of drove that home, because if it's not that, then
otherwise it's just kind of there, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I guess that'll be the important thing, is maybe it's the first book that hints at who's actually behind the Magistrate. But
right.
honestly, I just kind of felt like it's just was kind of nothing tie into an overall 2-month thing. Especially since it's not like we're getting a Tim follow up to this. Damien's getting a book. There's no Tim book.
There may be some Tim backups down the line.
Maybe, yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me, but yeah, it's hard to say for sure.
I was just kind of indifferent to it as I was reading it. It was one of those weird reads. It's funny because when I look back over this week's like Future State books and I look at, okay, which ones am I actually reading the next issue of next month? Obviously the 3 that I was pretty positive about are definitely getting read. When it comes to the rest of them though, it's kind of like, oh, I mean Teen Titans for sure, but this one is just kind of like maybe, I guess if I've got time for another one, I'll read it.
Out of this week, ones that I'm not reading next, Green Lantern, I'll have to look into what the backups are, because if the 2 sound interesting, I might pick it up for those. If not, I'll skip that. That's the only one that I'm like, oh, definitely have a firm opinion on from this week, I think.
Yeah, Robin Eternal will just be kind of a case of do I feel like bothering? If not,
yeah,
I'm not strong on it.
I probably won't, because no. I think just to highlight something positive that I will give it. I mentioned the layouts. There's the bit where Tim's on his jetpack, kind of does the circle in, and it's nice. And then you've got the insert, circle panel of him clicking the booster button as well. I thought that was had a nice flow to it. Just to say something good.
All right. This is strange.
I do like how they went forward with the sign language in comic art.
Sure.
I do like
that. Was fine.
And it had that editor's note of it's not perfect. So if you could read sign language, then of course you're not going to get the full, but the intent was there, and so I really appreciate the effort.
Yeah, they basically
kind of do it as a shorthand because they haven't got enough panels to show every individual.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, basically what to do with it's the same way as when someone's speaking in a different language. To just say this is translated from blah blah blah, and just here's the.
But they do consistently always show them talking with their hands. They're just not showing every individual movement of them.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely like that the intent was there for that, which is real cool because you don't see that in comics too often. Like we get the language stuff all the time,
right?
But when it's something like this,
it's such an easy medium to do that with as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think after seeing Sound of Metal on top of it, my eyes are kind of open.
I do need to watch that. But I mean, I was just going to say, like, one of the easiest ways to teach sign language is, little pictographs, which is essentially sequential art, right?
But it's not realistic to actually put every single movement of the hands into a regular copy like this. That would take too many panels, would it not?
It would, yes.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, no, just thinking of that and seeing how that is, I feel like, again, they handled it really well, and I liked seeing that in this book. So to copy Connor something positive, so we're not just dumping on this poor book.
Something positive. It was not as bad as Flash last week.
It was only 24 pages.
Yes, it was a regular sized comic book, so it felt over quite quick. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. That's my positive. Matt, what are you rating Robin Eternal?
I give this a 6.5.
Connor?
I'm gonna give it a 5.
I'll give it a 5.5. I'll just go slightly above that line. It wasn't. Yeah, it was. That's fine.